Okay, so we'll learn to do the box plot by hand, but we're going to use Excel to find those values that I was just talking about. So here are the values that we have all listed in order. Because they're in order, we can actually look at it and determine the minimum, the maximum, and the median, and the quartiles. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Excel commands to show you how you can find the quartiles. So to find the minimum, there's actually two ways to do this. One, the obvious way is to type in MIN for minimum, and then parentheses, and then click and drag the numbers that you're finding the minimum of. And then that's your minimum. We saw that earlier as 6. And for the maximum, it's the same thing. And the maximum here should be 22. The median, we saw before that special function median. So whenever I do a function in Excel, there's always an equal sign in front of it. So when you press equals and you start typing in ME or MED, then it starts to give you suggestions on what that is, and you can double click on the correct command that you want. So the median of these points is 14. We saw that earlier as well. Now the quartiles, there actually is a command called quartile. So let's look it up. Equals QUAR. So there's several quartiles here. There's quartile exclusive and quartile inclusive. I'd actually just prefer to use a quartile that doesn't have anything, and this is the same command that you would use in older Excel versions. So 2007 version has this. So if I double click on this, it not only tells me that this is the correct function that I'll be using, but it also tells me what I need. I need an array of numbers, and I need a quartile. So I put the comma there, and then it gave me 4, 5. It gave me 5 options. So for this one, I want the first quartile, so I'll type in the number 1, or you can just double click on this and then close the parentheses, and it gave me a different quartile. Huh? What was the quartile that it gave us before? 8 instead of 8.5. No, well, there's that inclusive, exclusive quartile. So one of them works like the calculator, the other one works a little bit differently. And inclusive, I think, would include the endpoints, which is what we would normally do. So let's try that. Equals quartile inclusive, and then the array, and then the first quartile, or maybe it's exclusive. Maybe it's not any of those. So anyways, quartile would do. So if you have an 8 or an 8.5 in your exam or quizzes, then either of those would be correct. I'll make those exceptions. So same thing, quartile. The array. I wonder what this is going to be. And then the third quartile in this case for Q3, 16.75. Somebody had 16.75 when they were working on their worksheet yesterday. Anyways, what was their answer from the calculator? 17.5. So it's a little bit different the way they compute their quartiles. All right, so that's how you would do your quartiles. Now, when you're ready to do this, to actually draw your box plot, what you would do now is the first thing you should do is to draw a number line. Now, our calculator, when we did it in our calculator, it didn't start at 0, not necessarily, but I think it might be good to start at 0 if you're doing things by hand. And then the largest number is 22. So I'm going to go to 20 here and then try to figure out where 22 is in a minute, just because it's a nicer number. So I could split that in half, and then I can split this in half. So 22 would probably be over here. And actually, I should have done that in a different color, because that's going to be, these 5 numbers are going to be the numbers that I want to make sure I label. So 6 would be somewhere over here. 14 would be over here. 8.5. 6, 7, 8.5, maybe over here. 22's out there, and then the other one is 16.5. So I want to make a note of where they are in the number line, and then I'm going to draw the box plot above that. So the box plot starts off with a box from Q1 to Q3, and then it has the median. And so those 3 lines kind of make up the box with a line in the middle. And then from here you would draw your whisker part. And then that's your box plot. Now I know it's labeled down below, but it also would be good practice to label it up on top as well, with a 6 and 8.5. 14, a 16.75, should be 75, and then a 22. That would ensure that we have the correct numbers available. Okay? So, is that good? Box plot? All right, so this is how you would do it by hand. You would need to figure out the 5-number summary, but this would be getting the box plot by hand.